In this video, we're breaking down 3 NBA preseason games happening on October 14, 2025, with full team picks and total picks for each matchup. Welcome back to Beyond the Box Score, where we bring you sharp analysis, key insights, and reliable data so you can make the most informed betting decisions. Make sure you're subscribed and have the notification bell turned on so you never miss a breakdown. We drop videos like this daily to keep you a step ahead. Now, let's get right into it. Detroit travels into Cleveland tonight with momentum firmly on their side. The Pistons have already proven they can score in bunches and handle travel, posting 128 points in Memphis and staying competitive in Milwaukee. They've looked sharper, cleaner, and more composed across both ends of the floor. Cade Cunningham has been in complete command, dictating tempo and controlling possessions, while role players like Paul Reed have contributed on the glass and the young guards have kept the pace up. In just 2 preseason games, Detroit has shown balanced, efficient basketball and a growing sense of rhythm. On the other side, Cleveland is still searching for answers. They're winless through 3 games, and it hasn't been a case of close losses. The Bulls ran them off the floor late, and the Celtics exposed how much they miss their starting guard. Darius Garland remains out with a toe injury until at least early November, and without him, the Cavs' offense has struggled to find any consistent flow. Donovan Mitchell is forced to carry a heavy creation load while secondary ball handlers try to hold things together, but possessions often break down into turnovers and wasted trips. With Cleveland experimenting with rotations and giving extended minutes to bench players, they've struggled to maintain composure when games tighten up. Detroit, meanwhile, has been capitalizing on mistakes and keeping pressure on opponents, especially against teams dealing with fatigue and thin rotations. Given the current form and health of both rosters, the lean is clear. The Detroit Pistons to cover the spread as underdogs is the full game side pick. Detroit's preseason games have totaled 240 and 228 points, while Cleveland's meeting with Chicago ended at 231. These numbers hover around the same zone as the current line, but the context leans under. Cleveland's missing Garland slows down their half-court execution, and they've struggled to find efficient offense once bench units come in. Detroit has flashed scoring bursts but also inconsistency, 128 one night, then long scoring droughts the next. This is typical of preseason basketball. Offensive flurries followed by scoring lulls when rotations widen. With both teams managing lineups and evaluating talent, it's unlikely this one turns into a track meet. The better value lies with a total that lands below expectations. Under the projected total is the full game total pick. Milwaukee hosts Oklahoma City at Fiserv Forum, and while it's only preseason, home court comfort still matters. Players sleep in their own beds, shoot in familiar gyms, and avoid the wear of travel. That advantage carries into bench minutes, which often decide these preseason contests. Oklahoma City, already 4 games deep, has alternated between dominance and disarray. Their 135-114 win showed how high their ceiling is, but the next game's 106-89 loss revealed the other side. They followed up with a 122-116 victory before falling 116-101 in their last outing. 2 wins, 2 losses, all over the place. Milwaukee, meanwhile, has looked more stable, with their latest showing being a 117-111 win that suggested control rather than chaos. When rotations tighten late and benches get tested, the steadier home team usually finds a way to cover. With more consistent results and the home edge, the call goes to Milwaukee. The Milwaukee Bucks to cover the spread as underdogs is the full game side pick. Oklahoma City's 4 preseason totals, 249, 195, 238, and 217, tell a clear story. Their games fall in the same mid-200 range, depending on pace and lineup usage. Milwaukee's 117-111 win fits neatly into that pattern. Preseason basketball tends to slow down as coaches use extended rotations and call structured sets. That experimentation naturally lowers offensive rhythm and scoring efficiency. Oklahoma City has alternated between fast-paced scoring and stagnant offense, depending on which group is on the floor. Given these inconsistencies, expecting another high-scoring contest is a stretch. The data points to a result that finishes shy of the number. Under the projected total is the full game total pick. Houston heads into New Orleans tonight looking to capitalize on a shorthanded Pelicans squad. The Rockets have had flashes of strong offense but have struggled to defend the perimeter, allowing open looks from deep. With Jason Tate still day-to-day due to an ankle issue, Houston loses a key defensive piece and dependable rotation player. Even so, the Rockets maintain an edge in energy and offensive rhythm. New Orleans, on the other hand, is missing critical backcourt pieces. DeJounte Murray is sidelined with an Achilles injury, and Trey Murphy III is questionable with foot soreness, two major losses for creation and spacing. Without Murray, the Pelicans lack a reliable initiator, and without Murphy, their perimeter shooting suffers. That forces the offense to rely heavily on stars and young players who may not deliver consistent efficiency. These are exactly the kinds of circumstances where a team like Houston, with tempo and energy on their side, can pounce. The Rockets' ability to push in transition and create off turnovers should tilt this one their way. The Houston Rockets to win and cover the spread as favorites is the full game side pick. Offensively, both teams have been hit or miss. Houston has put up points but hasn't defended well enough to hold leads. New Orleans, stripped of creators and shooters, now faces slower offensive pace and late clock possessions. Without Murray and Murphy, the Pelicans will find it difficult to maintain tempo, and their scoring ceiling dips considerably. Add in the typical preseason trend of extended bench minutes and experimental lineups, and it's easy to see efficiency fading as the game wears on. Scoring spikes early, then flattens out when coaches rotate through reserves. Given those tendencies and both teams' current rosters, this matchup projects to end below the total line. Under the projected total is the full game total pick. Denver welcomes Chicago to Ball Arena, and even in preseason, altitude is a real factor. The Nuggets practice and play in it year-round, while most visiting teams take time to adjust. That edge is reflected in the numbers, with Denver favored in the 7.5 to 8-point range, not a random figure. It reflects their home dominance and steadier preseason rhythm compared to Chicago. The Bulls have shown flashes but lack the depth to keep up once starters rest. Preseason games often swing late, when benches take over and mistakes pile up. Denver's deeper rotation and cleaner execution give them the edge in that phase. The Denver Nuggets to win and cover the spread as favorites is the full game side pick. The total suggests moderate scoring, but context points to a slower tempo. Preseason coaching decisions, like shortened starter minutes, half-court execution drills, and evaluation-heavy second halves, usually drag pace and scoring down. Denver can control tempo, and while Chicago will try to match energy, their depth might not sustain it. As the game wears on, possessions get longer, and shot quality dips. That's why the safer lean is toward a finish under the total. Under the projected total is the full game total pick. The Lakers meet the Suns again, and this one feels like a test of consistency. Los Angeles just topped Golden State 126-116 after dropping their first meeting 111-103, showing clear adjustments and control in the rematch. Phoenix has been more unpredictable. A dominant 103-81 win over the Lakers followed by a 132-127 overtime shootout in Brooklyn. That inflated final came from the extra period rather than regulation play, and it distorts the pace expectations. The Lakers have displayed sharper second unit play, which is key in preseason where bench minutes often decide outcomes. Phoenix will compete at home, but when rotations deepen after halftime, Los Angeles's discipline should carry the result. The Los Angeles Lakers to win and cover the spread as favorites is the full game side pick. The scoring trends show how preseason totals can vary wildly. The Lakers' 2 games landed at 214 and 242 combined points, while Phoenix's outings ranged from 184 to 242, with the higher result coming from overtime. Books have adjusted totals into the low 220s to match those averages, but overtime inflation can be misleading. Coaches in preseason emphasize sets and execution rather than pace, and bench-heavy fourth quarters tend to stall scoring. Given the recent results and typical preseason flow, the expectation is another game that settles below the total. Under the projected total is the full game total pick. Golden State faces Portland at Moda Center in what should be a fun but telling preseason matchup. Their last meeting ended 129-123, showing both teams can score but also how defense fades when starters sit. Late in that game, Golden State managed possessions with more discipline and pulled away as Portland's execution slipped. The line now reflects that slight edge, listing Golden State as a small favorite. Portland plays hard but lacks the bench polish to sustain control in those key stretches. The Warriors' steadier rotations and cleaner offense make them the logical lean once again. The Golden State Warriors to win and cover the spread as favorites is the full game side pick. As for the total, we've already seen what these two can do. That previous 252-point explosion told the story of fast pace and weak defense, but it was the exception, not the rule. In contrast, Golden State's 111-103 game versus the Lakers came in at 214, a much more typical preseason number. Most preseason finales slow down as coaches test lineups and pull stars early. That usually kills tempo and reduces scoring efficiency. Given those patterns and how teams manage minutes this deep into preseason, it's safer to expect a game that lands below the board. Under the projected total is the full game total pick. That's all for today's breakdowns. Drop a comment below with which game you'd like analyzed next, and let us know whether you agree or disagree with these picks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay locked in with Beyond the Box Score, your daily source for smart, data-driven basketball insights.